Hi, this is Cass from Mozzie Cass Plays, and welcome to part 22 of my Medieval Legacy Challenge. We are joining Rose and David. They are at the park on the main city of Windenburg, I guess, as opposed to on the island. I've changed this lot to be a teen hangout, so I'm kind of hoping we get some teens show up. At the moment, there's a child and an adult. So I've changed it a tiny bit just to put this ring toss thing in. David and Rose came to the city to do some shopping. They had some stuff they had to do, some errands they had to run for their parents. Mainly, Rose was looking for food ingredients they couldn't produce at the farm, like cheeses and things, and David went with her. That they decided once they'd run all their errands that they would stop for a little bit because all of the chores are done back at the farm. You know, they don't have anything else they need to do. So they thought they would stop and hang out. So I'm actually going to have these guys mingle a little bit and just, you know, say hi to people. And who was that nice blonde lady that came over? She's cute. This is Alana Rouse. All right, let's do... Oh, Cedric doesn't seem real nice. Let's do a friendly introduction. Cedric Smith, also a teen. Have I bought either of these two the observant trait? If I haven't, don't be pulling out your camera, dude. I do not endorse that. I like The Sims to have the observant trait so we can get a sense of the traits up front, because that whole getting to know you thing, super tedious, like, you know. Rose is going to come over here and say hello to the beautiful Alana, and the only other teen that was here has stomped away. Oh, she's a bookworm who loves the outdoors. She'd be a good match. I'm just saying, David. All right, you can also do a funny introduction to Alana. I was kind of hoping there'd be more people here, if I'm honest, but that's okay. So I'm going to come over here and get Rose just to skate around. Now, Sylvester here, despite the outfit, and I can't change his clothes, like it won't let me at the moment for some reason, I guess because he's on the rink. He's not, this is not his normal vibe. I'm just saying, he's quite a well-off man. He's the kind of man that I could actually see Rose as a servant working for. I don't anticipate her, unless she gets to be very, very good at what she does, I don't anticipate her being, like, employed at the castle or anything like that. But, you know, he's the kind of low to middle level noble, despite the outfit, that I think would be interested in hiring someone like Rose. So I guess she's going to swing. David, you're meant to be making friends. So he doesn't know her. I mean, he's getting approving nods from Rose, who knows is a better judge of people, but he's learned that she loves the outdoors. Obviously, that's a great trait for someone to have. The reason I brought Rose as well is because obviously she's... Oh, see, this is Sylvester's younger brother or possibly child. I can't remember. Look at him. He's got angry money all over him, doesn't he? This is a family I downloaded from the gallery. All right, we're identifying fish from talking to Alana. We could talk about cloudy weather and rave about growing up and talk about our dreams. Oh my gosh, she's feeling flirty. That's very exciting. So she's saying, look, you know, I live in the town here. And he's like, yeah, I live out on the island. I've got a little, you know, a farm out there with my parents. Let's go get to know again. I guess I'll have her say hi to people. That's Finley. We obviously know Finley. This is Marcy's little brother. We'll do a friendly introduction to Jackson, although he does look very moneyed and possibly not like the kind of person that we would want to get involved with, or that we would be able to get involved with. The thing is, I don't have an objection to Rose marrying nobility. She's a farmer's daughter who's going to be a servant. So I kind of want to keep it a little bit realistic. Is this Mason? Mason Chastain. Again, nobility. Oh, dude. You need a bath, my friend. But I'm going to get him back in his proper clothes now. There we go. See what I mean? This is not a guy who I would expect to be, like, ice skating until he's stinky. So I'm just going to have these two, you know, have a little chat. She's actively flirting with him. So that's interesting. And now she's leaving. She's like, all right, I've got to go. It's dinner time. Better head home. Yes, I should have these guys head home too. Finley obviously is a known quantity to Rose, but I'm going to actually rule him out as a potential future spouse for her because he's going to inherit the Kingler house and I don't want Rose. Like, I want Rose to live in town and the rules say I have to build a new house with a certain amount of money. So I can't have her marry someone who is the rightful heir to some big house because it feels a bit like cheating. Honey, I know I said to say hi. Maybe, oh, look, Alexander Goth's aged up. He got cute. This is Alexander Goth now. I decided the Goths should be older. I guess we'll do a respectful introduction to them. Why don't we just forget about Sylvester? He's clearly gone. So we'll bow to Alexander Goth. Pleased to meet you. He's a foodie and a bookworm. And we can earn the good manners trait, which is handy. I mean, if she's going to end up being a servant to nobility, potentially, she's going to talk about cooking. She's like, well, you know, I'm a apprentice chef. And he's like, well, where are you working? And she's like, well, mostly on my mother's, like my parents' farm, but we have a really big family and I've taken over responsibility for the cooking. And now we're all playing with our phones. Stop it. We're going to... See, here's another teen. This is James. See, now they're all showing up. This is James Stone. He looks a little bit more in our kind of social class. So, anyway. I'm going to have her to say hi to him as well. I just want them to meet some teenagers. Obviously, in the case of David, it's a little bit more driven than that. James here is a music lover and a cheerful sim. James here dresses like someone that's perhaps a better fit for Rose in terms of class. Like I said, Alexander is very much out of her league. But I do really dig Alexander as a teen with a monocle. I'm just saying. He's quite cute. So is he making friends with people? We've met Cedric. We'll apologise. Why are we... Hang on. I feel like you're a bit of a jerk, dude. Talk to Lauren over here. Again, quite well dressed. Possibly, you know, not in our class. Hard to say. Come on, Rose. Stop talking to Alexander. I know he's a handsome young man. I just want you to come and say hi to Lauren. Clumsy and loves the outdoors, also a good match. So Rose is basically vetting future wives for... Can I get you to come over here? Vetting future wives for her brother. And she's... Hang on, she's feeling flirty too. Wow. Something about... Oh, you really need to pee. I might take these two home in a sec. Clearly, they're getting a little bit tired. They've been up since quite late or quite early in the morning. Oh, dude, you smell. Why do you smell? Gross. All right, well, he said hello. They've met. I'm just going to have him use the bathroom here because it's close, and then I'm going to take them home. And I guess then Rose can report back to her parents, you know, if he were interested in courting. There was Lauren Ragsdale. Now, Lauren is the daughter of a merchant, but a fairly well-to-do merchant. So, you know, not like a yard sale on the side of a farm, like a fairly well-to-do merchant. And I can't remember what the Stones are. I think the Stones are labourers. So, was it a Stone? Oh, no, it was Alana. We didn't find out Alana's background. Okay, so it's much later in the evening. Pretty much everyone is asleep. Olivia's actually doing some flower arranging because she wasn't as tired as the rest of the family. Oliver was also not hugely tired, and he wanted to keep working on a song that he's been writing because he thinks that that could be his ticket to fame, but he's wanted to get a bit further away from the house because he didn't want to keep everyone awake. Unfortunately for Oliver, his playing has drawn some attention. So you may notice in the background there, we have someone coming over. It is, in fact, Teresa Stroud. She's come back again and she's heard Oliver playing a little bit away from the house. In fact, he's actually right next to where the graves are. And she's come over to listen to him. And she's absolutely rapt. Looks a little bit sad. I think from the garlic, presumably. She's telling Oliver about how she loves his playing. He's very, very talented. And he's like, I've heard you're a vampire and that you like to drink people's plasma. And she's like, well, it's not that I like to, it's that I have to. It's not my fault if I didn't drink plasma. then I would die. And I'm kind of a fan of living, I'm not going to lie. I would prefer I didn't have to, but I do. And he's like, well, are you a demon? And she's like, well, I'm not a demon. No. You know, I'm just a young woman, like you're a young man. And he's like, oh. She's like, look, I come from a royal family from a different kingdom, and I love your music, and I would like it if you would come and join our court as a permanent member of the court and play for us all the time. And Oliver's very excited by this offer. He's like, obviously a bit conflicted because he knows his parents wouldn't approve of him being a bard in the vampire court. And she's like, he says, well, I'm basically betrothed to a young woman on this island, so I would have to see, you know, I would obviously want to bring her with me because I'm intending for her to be my wife. Teresa's saying, look, you have to understand, this offer would be just for you. And Oliver's feeling really conflicted because she's offering him basically everything he ever wanted. But at the same time, he's in love with Jewel and he doesn't want to leave Jewel. He's promised himself to her and she's promised herself to him. Teresa's saying, look, this would have to be you and this would have to be right now. So he's like, well, I don't get time to think about it. And she's like, no, this would be right now. Like, I'm going to be leaving here soon because the sun is about to come up and you would have to come with me. Now, Oliver's not super keen on that idea, obviously. He's like, well, I wouldn't be able to say goodbye to my family. And she's like, look, this is the choice. In fact, it's no choice, Oliver. You are coming. So she's feeding on him to make him weak. She can because they're far enough away from the house that it doesn't matter. Like, the garlic isn't affecting her. And she was actually kind of putting it on that the garlic was still affecting her. So he felt safe and he was wrong to feel safe. So she's having a bit of a snack because despite her comments about not enjoying drinking plasma, she really, really enjoys drinking plasma. So he's like, what's happening? What did you do to me? I don't feel good. And she's like, no, honey, you don't. And she's got vampiric strength. She's going to pick him up and she's going to take him back to her castle. Right, it's the next morning and about half the family's awake. The fact that Oliver's not in here in his bed when they first wake up isn't particularly unusual because now the kids are getting a bit older. They all know their chores. They all kind of just get up and do them. Oliver's usually looking after the crickets and the chickens. That tends to be his primary chore. I think Andrew is the one most likely in the first instance to notice Oliver's not in his usual haunts because he's usually out here, or visible out in this direction. So she's like, hey, has anyone seen Oliver? And David's like, what do you mean? Well, he's not outside playing and he's not in here. And I don't know, is he in the toilet? Oh no, I think Isabella's actually in there at the moment. And she's going to come back in here to get herself a quick meal. So she's just going to have some cheese crackers. And David's going to say, hey, Andrea just said that she thought Oliver had disappeared. She's like, well, I haven't seen him this morning. Was he supposed to go anywhere? So I'm going to just have these guys talk. They're basically comparing notes. I haven't seen him. Have you seen him? No. Now, these two have both actually had enough sleep, so they can get up now. And, oh, she's in range for the emotional control trait. That's handy. And she's going to wake up as well, because these guys are not being super quiet. And, you know, they're in the same room as her. So she's going to get up and get some food. And when the parents kind of come out and, you know, good morning, everyone. How's everyone going? Hey, Mum, have you seen Oliver? She's like, no, not since last night. He was out practicing, like he was writing that song that he's been working on. And Olivia's actually a little bit embarrassed because she had intended to wait up until Oliver came in, but she fell asleep once she'd finished rearranging the flowers. Not that she forgot, but she kind of, you know, there was like, it was dark in here and there was lots of snoring from the kids coming. So she just didn't do a head count when she went to bed. So Olivia's a bit worried. Basically, she's saying trying not to alarm the children, but giving Zachary a very significant look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these two to a group. So she's giving him a kiss and saying, what if it's the vampires? And he's like giving her a look. So they're like, well, let's go and have a look outside, see if there's any signs of anything. So I'm going to have these two go out. Poor Rose doing all the cleaning. Hey, look, the knight's shown up. Edison Roos. I wonder if he's related to that. What was her name? I forget the name of the girl. Alana. So she's obviously can't just walk past a knight like that. So she's going to do a cheerful introduction to the knight. Be like, can I help you, sir? And Zachary's going to be like, good morning. I actually think Zachary would be the one obliged to have the conversation with the knight because, you know, he's the man of the house. Olivia's like, if you'll excuse me, I have some chores to do. So she's going to go out. She's basically having a look around to see if she can spot any signs of where Oliver might be. You know, maybe he's just taken to a different location. Like, she might head down to the beach and see if she can see him down there. I'm going to have her go up to the headland and look because she can see the beach from over there. So she's obviously feeling quite anxious. She's in a bit of a rush, which is fair. So she's going to run over here while Zachary is keeping this knight busy. Zachary, you're keeping the knight busy, right? Let's flatter him and talk about money and confess our fear of vampires because the house is covered in garlic. I mean, that's not a surprise. And we're going to have Olivia continue her expedition over here. So she's having a look down there. She can't see any sign of Oliver. She might actually call Oliver and be like, Oliver, where are you? And I'm going to have her go over this way, heading over to where the grave of her father is. He has sometimes been known to play out there. She heard the music coming from out that way last night. So she's worried. Is it the vampires? Is it that he's fallen and hurt himself in the night and she hasn't heard? So she's like, Oliver, are you here anywhere? And then she's noticing over here there is a set of sheet music. So she's going to put that in her inventory. And it's a bit, you know, juice soaked, and she opens it and she can see all the notes Oliver's been making about the song that he's been working on. So she's going to run back and have a look through it. Maybe there's a clue in there, but she knows it's really not normal. Oh, look, the knight's watering our plants. It's really not normal for Oliver to leave something so precious to him on the ground. So she's going to explain to Zachary, you know, she's really worried. I think something might have happened to Oliver. I found his sheet music here. He was working on it last night, and look, I can't read what these little dots mean, but it kind of just looks like it trails off. You know what I mean? Like, he's written half a sentence of lyrics here. So Zachary is sharing Olivia's concerns. He's like, you have to be brave, honey. I'm sure he's around here somewhere. He's expressing being courageous, and he's going to confess his fear of vampires. You know, I'm worried about them too. And she's like, yeah, I know, but I have this really awful feeling that something has happened to him. And Zachary's like, you know, you may be right. So what we'll have to do is, this man's a knight. Maybe we can talk to him. I have no idea why this guy showed up when he did, but it's very convenient. We'll go over and we're going to basically try and get this guy into the conversation and say, do you work for the king? And he's like, well, I am part of the royal guard. More broadly, I look after security of the realm. And he's going to be like, look, our son's gone missing. You know, something's happened to him. We think something's happened to him. We think it could be vampires. And Sir Edison's going to say, well, have you got proof of that? You know, you're obviously very paranoid about vampires, but have you got proof that they've been here? Because that's a big thing to say is actually a problem in the realm at the moment. And the king wouldn't be happy if you were spreading rumours and upsetting people. So he's saying, look, yeah, we're pretty sure we didn't see it happen. If we'd have seen it happen, we would have obviously done something at the time, but he's gone missing and this is not like him. He's betrothed to a girl, in the village, and we don't think that he'd take off. You know, he's not that kind of guy. And the knight's like, well, I'll go and check, you know, which family is it that he's betrothed to? Why don't we go and knock on the door there? We'll see if he's perhaps, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, young man, young lady. Perhaps they spent the night together, that he may have snuck off. So normally Olivia wouldn't be very happy at that idea, but she's clinging to the idea that Oliver may have gone to Jules' place. She's like, okay, cool, maybe he's there. Okay. And Zachary's like, look, we'll go check it out. Now, I'm actually going to end this part here. Sorry to do this to you guys, but I don't want this getting too long, and I feel like it will. Next part, obviously, we'll have to go and talk to Jewel and then pursue investigations into what has happened to Oliver. And I'm going to have Olivia stick this in her chest with the vampire book because she wants to keep it safe for her son. The book is the sheet music is the main kind of argument for why maybe Oliver isn't with Jewel, because it would be very strange for him to leave the music. You know what I mean? So there are obviously like flaws in the logic of the argument the knight is presenting, but Olivia wants to believe that it's true rather than that something horrible has happened to her son. I'm going to leave this one here. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. Don't forget to wash your hands, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.